Sales is the backbone of every company. You don't have sales, you can't run the company. Nothing.
True.
Yeah. So my story is quite interesting because for most people, if you study biology, medicine, whatever, they think primarily either you become a researcher, you work in a biotech company doing the lab stuff and all.
Yeah.
But they forget that at the end of the day, you need to sell your product, your service, whatever it is, and that's where sales comes in. So back in Nigeria, when I finished my bachelor's degree,
I kind of get hooked when I moved to Germany when I was coming here for a short ride. And then I realized, hey, I can make it work here pretty good.
I mean, like you made it work for you now. Like someone out there who is also in this same line wanting to change career paths. What tips are you guys giving someone out there, or what?
Awesome. So, hello again, our amazing Onlyfacts podcast fans and our viewers. So, welcome once again to our shoot for today. I'm here again with my awesome co-host. And now joining us as well. Yeah, don't worry. I'll let you say something. No. So joining us again are two great people. Julia and funny enough, they both are coming from Hamburg today for our shoot in Berlin. So incredible for you guys to make that trip down here. You know, we appreciate that as well.
Thank you.
And as well, my the other great representative from Hamburg as well. So I'm going to let them introduce themselves, and so they can tell you a little bit of what they do, and and why what they've been doing in Germany as well, and also why we want to get into this interesting conversation, which is navigating career change in Germany. I think this is something a lot of people who are also expats have done over time as well, whenever they move here. So I didn't do that, so I cannot tell you a lot from that perspective. So that's why we have two people to talk from their perspective to share their experience and also personal opinions in between as well. But let me still say something real quick.
Well, I can answer really a lot. We've just had a lot of conversations and behind the cameras, and we've just had really interesting conversations. But yeah, and of course, I just want to get to know the Hamburger people here, because I feel like Hamburg is well represented with the two of you, and nice to have you here today. Let's begin maybe with Julia. How are you doing?
Hi everyone, very happy to be here tonight.
Our pleasure for having you around. So can you just give us a bit about yourself? So our audience can get to know you as well a little bit.
Hi everyone, I'm Julia. I'm coming from Hamburg, but originally from Barcelona, Spain. And I work in sales, but I did a transition coming from architecture, rediscovering myself, ending it in sales. And that's what I'm doing in Germany, actually.
Awesome. Amazing. And you, brother?
Okay, so my name is Mike, and I'm from Nigeria, living in Germany for over 10 years now. First studied, and then started my first profession, and then from being fully employed, I moved also now to entrepreneurship. And between, I also had experience, switching between different career paths, I'd say.
So what do you do? So entrepreneurship can be it's a wide range. So specifically, what's your business, your core business?
So I am the founder and owner of Ojira Soft, and Ojira Soft provides custom digital solutions, specifically in the migration space.
Okay.
So it all started back after my master's, creating and sharing content about opportunities in Germany. And then that gradually evolved into a kind of migration ecosystem, which is catering to people at different stages of migration. Before you come in, when you come in, how you settle down, and how do you thrive.
Okay. I get. So basically, you provide solution to people who want to basically move to Germany. So just Germany specifically, or you have a wide range of countries?
So right now, the primary destination country is Germany.
Okay.
However, our platform and what we render can be replicated in other locations.
In other locations as well. Yeah. Amazing. I guess this would also help our audience outside of Germany as well. So
Definitely.
So to go out of the box here. Yeah, I'm curious though, what made you guys change entirely from your initial path to something totally different. I mean, sorry, Mike, you said you did your master's in what?
So my master's was in infection biology.
Exactly. That's a big change.
What is infection biology?
So just think about it as public health administration.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
That's a big change. And also Julie as well, from architecture, I think for me
To
that's
sales,
also like
right?
to say is that that's also like a big change as well, like a big swing.
It's a
Sorry.
bigger career path.
Yeah, a big swing to the other direction. So
Well, it looks like, but it's actually no one. It's very surprising. Many people tell me it's surprising. Actually, sales and architecture is very well connected. That's when I realized that I should do this switch. And the reason is to be a good architect, you need to be a good salesperson.
Really?
Because you're going to be selling your project to someone, to your clients who are not architects. So you need to be really masterizing the skills of selling, understanding your customer, and being able to put it in a way that they could understand and digest without the expertise view. So I was like, to be a good architect, a good salesperson, actually. They don't have the best projects. So with that, I connected. Do you see it? Do you follow me? And then I was doing architecture and I was realizing that the fun part was the selling part. For me. And then I wanted to give it a try. I wanted to try sales, strictly pure sales for a year and stop the architecture because it was a really difficult time when I graduated. It was after the 2010 crisis in Spain. Was very difficult to start as a junior architect. I tried with the studios and then I tried freelancing. I did that for 3 years and it was very...
So, sorry, just so our audience understand as well. So the 2010 crisis, you're talking about the financial crisis from 2020.
Exactly.
08?
Yes,
exactly. Started in 08 and then,
yes.
okay.
I started in the US in 2008, but in 2010 was the strongest moment
when
in
it
Spain.
hit Spain, okay.
And it hit especially the construction in Spain, the construction sector. And I just graduated there. So I tried, and during these 3 years, I realized that the good part, also what you need to masterize is the sales, especially during crisis. You need to be a good seller no matter what you're selling. And then is how I ended up in sales, actually by accident.
And how are you ending up in Germany? I mean, this is what I'm saying. Like,
actually,
from
by
Spain.
accident. It was not intentional. Not intentional, but I came here for a work that I thought it would take me 6 to 1 years. And then I will 1 year, 6 months to 1 year, And then I will move to the States. And then eventually I decided here was better.
Okay.
Life quality here is better. Why should I put me in that situation, right? I was always much in contact with my colleagues in the US office and going there to work many, many times a year. And every time I was there, I was like, damn, in Germany, we live better.
Yeah. And how long have you been living in Germany now?
It's already past 3 years.
Okay, past 3 years. Amazing. I mean, it's, I also tell people as well, one of the things I really like about Germany is the socio-economic system. There's always like a balance, a work-life balance. There's also a lot of like, securities. There's the opportunity is amazing as well. So in that essence, you have like a space or people, governmental structure traditionally that cater for everyone and not just a specific number of people. So that's that's what makes the quality of life actually better is the people themselves believe that everyone should have good quality of life. So that translates into like government, into like social programs, into like office spaces as well, except maybe you're working in some startup. But that's a story for another day.
But there's something I still want to dive in. So how are you transitioning from being an architecture to the salesperson? Like, how is this transition? Like, I want you to connect for me these dots. Like, now you're like, I've graduated and I want to change my career path to this. Like, how are you transitioning from this?
No, actually, I was lucky and I was working for a startup very, very beginning, and where I was helping them with the architecture side because they were building a 3D visualization platform, SaaS, for architects. So I joined them as a little bit of consultant, let's say it, but very partial work. And then working there, the CEO, who became kind of my teacher, he said to me, "Hey, you can work in sales." and I can teach you. And I was like, oh my God, no, I'm an artist. I cannot be in sales. He cannot become a mentor. And he was like, yeah, give it a try. So I decided to give it a try for 1 year. One year I will do it, and I will go back to architecture because I wanted to do so. Basically, because it was a hard studies. It was many years, and I wanted to dedicate my life with something that so much have a fight in the past to do it. And I gave it a try, and it was too good. And I never went back, and it's been already 11 years.
Okay. So, so before we get back to you, Julia, we want to, touch on Mike as well.
Sure.
So Mike, tell us, what motivated you to switch from, being, working in biology to moving into entrepreneurship for what you do specifically?
So interestingly, I'm also a sales guy.
Everyone is a sales guy.
We're having a lot of salespeople today.
Should I get into sales as well? Is there, some financial benefits in there that I'm missing?
Sales is the backbone of every company. You don't have sales, you can't run a company. Nothing.
True.
Yeah. So my story is quite interesting because for most people, if you study biology, medicine, whatever, they think primarily either you become a researcher, you work in a biotech company doing the lab stuff and all.
Yeah.
But they forget that at the end of the day, you need to sell your product, your service, whatever it is, and that's where sales comes in. So back in Nigeria, when I finished my bachelor's degree, I worked for like a year as a medical sales representative for a retail pharmacy.
Okay.
I was supplying the product. When I moved to Germany and studied infection biology, it did not click to me that, hey, you can continue your sales path.
Yeah.
I was applying for positions to be, to go for a PhD, do the research stuff and all. But then a friend told me, hey, you used to be a medical sales rep back. Why not do that in Germany? And then he came back to me again. It occurred to me again that, hey, I'm a people's person.
Yeah.
I like to talk, and I believe I can communicate clearly. At least that's what I believe. And then I'm someone who genuinely like to go out and meet people and talk.
Yeah.
And so with my background knowledge in biochemistry, infection biology and all, I can confidently talk about the product. And that was everything I needed to go into sales.
Okay.
And immediately I changed my application from applying as a research assistant for PhD position or whatever. When I started applying in sales position, it changed the conversation.
Entirely.
And that was how I landed my first job really easy. Because during the conversation, it was like consultation, like Julia mentioned. It was like consultation because you understand the product, you understand the market.
Yeah.
And all you need to do is talk to the person why this product will serve their
We
needs.
serve their needs.
But before that, I also had some experience in digital marketing.
Okay.
So just putting that together was easy to talk to the guys at the company. Again, it was a startup company.
Yeah.
Kind of relating to Julia's first experience,
Yeah.
And just putting it all together, that was how I got into my first professional space,
Yeah.
sales, but within the biotechnology industry.
Oh, amazing. Amazing.
I mean, you're mentioning that your friend tells you should do this in Germany. Why Germany of all countries? Is it because of the booming industry? France is also an option. So what is so special about Germany?
Already? Because I was living in Germany already, and I finished my studies and I was looking for a job. But then I was applying to say positions like research assistant, lab technician, things just, with more very scientific and less communication and going outside, and then he advised me that it's easier when you continue a path that you already have the experience. But when I just put everything together, I think what pushed me more is the fact that I'm more like an outgoing person. I like to talk. I like to meet people. I like to network. And I have a solid knowledge of that space.
Yeah. And also, I think Germany is also big in pharmaceutical as well. So I think that also makes it a bit easier to go in between. Yeah. So one thing that have always intrigued me, because obviously Germany, they like people with experiences, right? So most times they prefer your experience than your educational background.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask you, was it like so for you? I think you already you had experience in sales previously.
That's
right?
correct.
So my question now is, does experience determine how quickly you find something? Or it didn't really play a huge part in you switching to sales from your perspective?
It depends the stage of the company. For most startup company, what they want is that team spirit, the vibe, and the willingness to learn.
Right.
Experience is always a plus, no doubt. But then besides the startup company, when you go to like a bigger company that are well established, then experience plays more role. But by default, I would say first and foremost, it's that spirit, willingness to learn and team play around.
I think so. It's what they call soft skills. That is different from hard skill. Hard skill will be everything that you have learned. It's like you have studied or you have already worked in that field. So there's the experience, but the soft skill is how you are, what is your attitude, and especially how are you positioned to learn. And I have worked on corporate world and I have worked also on the startups, and I would say both worlds, they looking for people with high soft skills because they know that you can train these people. And not having experience means that eventually you will have it. Like you're looking for it. And here in Germany, especially, they love that because it's how you are, how you present yourself, how are you going to fight for something that you want. So that's what I kind of get hooked when I moved to Germany. Even I was coming here for a short ride and then I realized, hey, I can make it work here pretty good.
I mean, like you made it work for you now. Like someone out there who is also in this same line wanting to change career paths. What tips are you guys giving someone out there, or what do you think is the best way to change career paths from whatever they're doing to maybe becoming a salesperson, or what really helped you guys into changing your career paths? I'll start with Mike, and then I'll go to you, Leo.
So sorry, just before you answer, I want to jump in real quick. So, unfortunately, not everyone wants to go into space. I need to say, why did you
I know. Okay.
So,
How can you say that? How can you say that?
For the matter of being against sales, I'll refrain. Okay, but I mean, in terms of career paths, so what would be the advice or the tips that you give someone that would help them or will enable this smoothness of the process?
I think the first thing is to know to know what transferable skills you have, because certain skills you have are not specific to one domain. They can, go to other domains. So that's the first thing. So which transferable skills do you have? And then the next thing is what do you genuinely want to do? What is it that burns in you every morning when you wake up? For me, for example, I was in sales the whole time, but then I also have, just innately passion for digital stuff, software development, digital marketing, and all those kind of things. And I also got very involved in the migration space, creating content, building communities and all. I could not continue to do that in the biotech space, even though I was in sales. So I needed to switch. So just combining the transferable skills which I have, communication first, and then also getting into tech on my own. Those were just the recipe I needed to go into the tech space as an entrepreneur. So what I would say directly to your question is, one, the transferable skills that you have, and what are you passionate about? Because again, coming back to what Julia said, you can learn everything.
True. Yeah. I just before Julia answer, I really appreciate you mentioning that the transferable skills you have, because again, guys, you cannot transfer from finance to a doctor. So you need something to transfer at some point, right? Yeah. So right. I just wanted to mention that. Yeah. Sorry, you can go, Julia.
Look, I will insist on the same. We're talking about soft skills. Obviously, you cannot transfer and suddenly decide I will be doing surgery tonight. Highly not recommended. But yes, I think exactly I resonate what you said, because the thing is what you like to do. Because at the end of the day, you're going to be doing that at least minimum here in Germany, 8 hours per day. 100%. Therefore, it's going to consume you. It's going to be very present on your day by day. So, for example, me doing architecture, I realized what I liked to do was the social part, the social of meeting the customer and understanding their needs, how we're going to do it, how I'm going to express it so they can understand it and think that I'm totally aligned with them. This is sales. But I didn't know that back in the time. Then I was insisting and thinking, what job can bring me that all the time? For me, it was this transition to sales. So at the beginning, I took it like as a test, but I felt kind of guilty because when I moved to sales, I feel so much relief because the job I was doing during so many hours was fulfilling me.
Yeah.
While architecture, the non-social part of the architecture, that obviously is a big part, was painful. And I feel very guilty for choosing something that wasn't easy, that did not require me so many years of university and the other.
Yeah.
But I made peace with that after 3 years. The first 3 years, like, oh my God, I need to go back. I have to give it back for the architecture. And after three years, I was like, no, that's my life. I should be doing something that makes me happy,
100%.
something that I can overachieve easily. That makes my life the way I want it to be.
Yeah. Well, so we've talked about, like, I think, some of, like, most of the positive lights of switching, basically.
Yeah.
Switching is something you're passionate about, the yada, amazing stuff, right?
Yeah.
But I think also what's important for people to know is the challenges of
100%.
of changing as well. So, because one, I can imagine, if you tell your friends or your parents, like, you want to switch off a sudden, you have a job now, or you have, like, a career path, or you've spent your, a huge part of your life studying for this as well. Why switch off a sudden? So I think that's like the unique question I want to ask to you guys is what were the challenges that you guys faced when you switch? So can you go on to that?
For sure. So like you mentioned, there's that risk, because you've done all these things in the past years, and now you're jumping into something else. So the challenge would be that you're taking a risk because it may not work there, because you already had something that was working, and now you want to switch. So you have to think about that and have a plan B. So the question would be, where are you located today, and what are the options for you there? In Germany, for example, and practically speaking about it, would be if you decide to switch career, for example, that would mean you give up your existing job and you try to learn something else.
Okay.
And the way the system works here is how are you going to switch from that job? Are you going to leave that job, like resign, or are you going to be fired? So you have to think about how to go. Depending on how long you've been working, you talked about the social aspect of Germany and all. So you get that financial support, at least 12 months, and then if you are fired, of course. And then you also get the possibility to get good shine or voucher to learn this, whatever it is you want to switch to. So there are options for you to learn those things. So the other side would be that transition phase and going through this process, and I'm mentioning this as your backup plan. So you're not just alone doing it, trying to figure out things on your own. So where are you? What does the system offers in Germany? The recommendation would be to think about what are you going to be doing within the time you're switching. Are you switching to something that you also have the experience in, or do you need a transfer period to learn the skills in that new domain?
In the new domain. Okay.
So, Mike, I'm sorry to interrupt, but is language mattering in all this?
No, it does not, because language matters only in certain professions.
Okay.
In other professions, it does not matter. So if you do have a good German language proficiency, then it makes you to have more options. But if you don't, then your options are limited.
Okay.
But it's not that restrained.
No,
not at all.
Okay. So how about you, Julia? What were the challenges you faced while you were, switching?
Well, when I was switching, we were talking about that part of what people say, right? When I was switching at the very early, no, because probably it was a very quiet switch. But after a few years, especially as mentioned before, the 3 first were the more difficult because it was making real or making obvious that was going back. Many people was asking me, like, when are you going to be back for architecture? And it was very hard for me to have to explain. I'm dealing internally with the fact that I may not go back. And every time I was taking another job because things were going good and I was getting promoted or I was getting offered from different companies and I was making it more obvious and bigger that I was becoming a salesperson. Every change in career onto the sales side, people was asking more and more, hey, you're getting even more further away from architecture. And that was something that I dedicated 8 years passionately, and suddenly you are drifting away.
Yeah, drifting away.
But honestly, I choose myself and I choose what it makes me happy. And I wanted to stay true to myself.
Yeah.
So sorry for people that I disappoint.
Well, sorry for the disappointment.
For not being an
guys.
architect.
Yeah.
But I had many people bringing that for years. And I was like, hey, stop asking about that. There's not...
I think that leads me to the next question. Though. Oh, you wanted to make a
I
comment?
would
Yeah.
like to just touch on this
Yeah.
still.
Yeah.
So one major challenge I faced is because for me the switch was first I wanted to switch from the biotech space to the tech space like software development and all. The first challenge I faced was regarding the salary. Because in the biotech space I already had years of experience in sales, so I was already like in a senior position.
Mm-hmm.
But then switching to the tech space, I wanted to continue still on the sales part, you know. But the first thing I faced was like much lower salary. So this is something, because
Now you needed to drop your standard.
that's
bit,
right,
yeah.
because I have the experience in sales within the biotechnology space, but not in the software development space.
Okay.
So when I was requesting for the salary that I used to have, now they could not pay that. So this is something that one would have to think about, like plan for sure lower salary.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So lower salary as you're starting.
As a starter.
Yeah.
As you're starting. Are brilliant. So my last question, just so we can, because fortunately, as much as I enjoy this conversation, we need to wrap up, a bit soon as well.
You're a finance guy as well, right?
Yes, I work in finance. Yeah. So, will you guys ever go back?
Ooh.
Go back to what?
Engineer?
Like I'm not a
So I guess that's a definite no for Mark. Never going back to the pharmaceutical sales.
There's no turning back.
Yeah. How about you, Julia?
No, absolutely
No,
no.
absolutely
And,
not.
I mean, I go back on a personal level. I think I do small projects when I want, and I can enjoy continuing and rediscovering and learning more from the architecture, but not as a sale, my working position.
Yeah, not as an
And one of the reasons basically is for what you said, doing another change now would put me again in the first starting point.
Take you back.
And
surely.
especially in the architecture field, there is so many things that have changed since 11 years ago when I did this career change.
Yeah.
It would put me a very junior position, and so far, no.
All right, awesome. So, Mike and Julia, thanks a lot for joining us today. Thanks for your insights, and and thanks for sharing your experience in terms of switching career. We appreciate that, and I hope we're able to help someone that wants to change career wise, and also you want to also move to Germany as well and change career. Basically. As you can see, there, the positive aspect that that it can work. And
It
it's
is
possible, and it's possible, and it's doable as well. So listen.
Yeah, and of course, let us know if there is anything you feel like we haven't touched, anything that we should have spoken about or we haven't spoken about. Let us know in the comment section, and we shall have maybe Yulia or Mike again here to address the issues. And of course, like we say, we're only facts on Instagram, we're only facts on X, we're only facts on TikTok, we only facts on YouTube. Just go hit that subscribe button. Just let us know in the comment section what you think. Share with your friends, and also just invite your mothers and fathers and family to watch. I mean, come on, guys. So, and with that wrap up, I would like to wish you a lovely evening. Let's catch you in the next episode.
Awesome. Peace out, guys. Cheers.